Welcome to Four Collectors.
Yo, what is up, my fallopian tubers? Welcome to the Four Collectors channel. It's Pepino Man, and I'm here doing Ask Me Anything. Actually, I was gonna do a regular video yesterday or the day before for yesterday, and it started raining on us at Dodger Stadium. What's up, Boom Slang? So I hope you got some questions ready, man. You know, this is Ask Me Anything, so ask me anything. Try to keep it hobby, but if not, if you're having problems in bed, problem with the ladies, I don't know, maybe you can ask me that too. But anyways, yeah, man, I was gonna do a video a couple of days ago, and it started raining like out of nowhere. We weren't expecting the rain, so ended up starting work earlier, and the next day too. So I got busy. What's up, Brendan? And I today too. I was gonna start at 6, and traffic was horrible. I forgot that it was a Thursday day game and not a Sunday day game. So it took me like almost 2 hours to get home. On a Sunday, it would probably take me 45 minutes. So that's why I'm a little bit late to the party, but I'm gonna get it started. hmm Okay, my eBay sounds are down for last month. Any thoughts? Man, I really don't know too much about eBay. The only thing I know is what people say about the hobby and the economy. And I heard the economy's down. Money is tight. And I don't know if also if you're losing eBay eyes to other, newer sellers nowadays. Do you know what I like to do while looking at some baseball cards? Oh man, I didn't even get a chance to get some today, man. So I don't even think I'm gonna be smoking today. And I really don't smoke on the Four Collectors channel because it's a family show. What's up, Carl Taylor? So yeah, guys, ask me anything. My wife texted me the other day picture. She was at a thrift store and got this baby. I had never seen another one. I have a Mickey Mantle one. And it's got the certificates in here. So let's check that out real quick. Uh, this one's actually got a bunch of them. I don't think I've seen that. My Mickey Mantle has one. Has the authenticity number, authenticity. Just use Tops Wraps. All right. So yeah, this is cool, man. Shout out to my wife for picking that up for me. Back in here. So we got
What's up, man? How's it going?
good, man. How's it going?
Good, man. I thought maybe I'd crash the party. How was work today?
Pretty easy. Pretty easy. Wow, at least we won, man. The Mets have been killing us. I don't know what's been going on, but they've been killing us. But we pulled out a win today.
Yeah. Well, what's up? I mean, not to get right to questions, but I mean, do you ever pinch yourself with Otani on the team now? Like it seriously feels like a once in a lifetime opportunity to be this close to somebody that's like basically the Babe Ruth of our generation. You feel that way?
Yeah, I feel he's. I mean, between him and Judge, they're like the greatest of all time. You know, take away the steroid era. You know what I mean? They're like some of the greatest players that ever lived. Because I mean, I gotta say, like collecting, as far as I've been collecting and watching baseball, the '80s, the '90s. You know, minus the steroid era, I have always felt that the greatest players of all time were Willie Mays, you know, Mickey Mantle, Babe Ruth, Joe DiMaggio, Lou Gehrig, and people like that. And now I feel like finally, you know, we got people on that level. You know, it's like
Yeah.
what happened to all these other decades where no one has been as good as those guys, and now we actually have some.
It is it on the daily that you're like within, I don't know, 5 feet of Otani? Like literally you're walking down the hallway and he walks past you and it's just normal.
Yeah, you know, I see him every day when I go in early. I see him on the field. Because he comes out with every single team that comes out. He talks to all the Japanese players from every team all the time, and
Okay.
they stand by first base, and we're parked by first base. You know, getting everything ready. The horse arrow. What's my favorite bean? Pinto bean. I love me some pinto beans and rice.
I'm wondering though, I know you filmed him in that bullpen session, which was freaking awesome. When's he is he still been throwing bullpen sessions? Does anybody know when he's gonna come and start pitching again?
Uh, uh, they haven't really said when, but yeah, he's been throwing a lot of bullpen sessions, and I actually recorded him the other day. He throws simulated games. Before the Dodger games, he throws simulated games on the field on you know on the actual mound. And I
Wow.
recorded a little bit of it, not too much, but yeah, he's been throwing a lot to like live batters, you know, while they're batting.
Oh wow. That's really cool. How tempting is it to try to ask for an autograph?
No, they've told us nah, don't at all, don't touch him, don't even look at him, you know. So yeah,
That
they've
just
definitely been telling us that's a no.
I know. That just has to be so tempting though. You're sitting there with your baseball cards thinking, man, if I could just get one of these signed, it would be cool. So
Well, one of the times when we played the Angels and he was still on the Angels, I came in early and he was throwing and he was pitching in the outfield. That's when he was still pitching.
yeah.
And I got in the visitors tunnel before, when he was coming in, and there was a moment where me and him and his interpreter, the guy who went to jail, we were the only ones in the tunnel. And I had a pack of cards that he's on the cover. Actually, it's the 2000 update.
Okay,
His
yeah.
rookie card here. I had
Yeah.
that pack with me, and I said, I'm gonna ask him for an autograph. And I had the perfect chance right there, nobody else around, and I chickened out. And he looked at me like, "Are you gonna ask me something? You know, like, what are you doing?" And no, I couldn't get the nerves to do it.
Wow. That's insane. He just I can't imagine how big he looks in person because he just looks like a mammoth of a
Yeah,
man. It's just,
he's tall. Yeah, one of the last card I picked up was an Otani, one of those Advent cards. I had never really heard of them before, but it's a rookie card.
yeah,
So I thought
they
that
had
was.
the Christmas advent calendars basically.
I have no idea, but yeah, it's called Advent.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, and it's like a Christmas Eve. See, it has that like the ribbon, I guess,
Yeah.
and it's number one card, I guess, from that set. Or if there's other players, which I'm assuming there are. Like I said, I had never heard of it. I had never seen it,
Where'd you get it
but
at?
I saw it and I had to buy it.
Where'd you get it at?
At a card shop, at my local card shop. Well, a card shop close to I was in the hospital with my asthma, and when I got out, I left, and I knew that there's a card shop close to the hospital, so I went to go check it out and pick that up.
Uh-oh. Mookie's talking in the chat. Let's see. They stole 2 games from my Metsies.
Yeah, man, we got lucky today. It wasn't looking so good. But the Mets, yeah, and then Francisco Lindor broke his tiny toe, his little toe on his foot yesterday, so he was out today. But Mookie Wilson also Mookie Betts also broke like one of his toes or something. So, but I guess
really?
he could play with the broken toe.
What position they have him at now? They moved him to what, second? I'm trying to remember. Shortstop?
He's shortstop.
Shortstop, okay.
Yeah, Mookie Betts is shortstop, and man, he takes like 200 ground balls before every game. I mean, literally, he's always just asking for extra. One of the hardest working dudes, man, that I've seen.
Yeah, I heard a story about Clemente. It was like, I don't know, early 60s, and he told one of his teammates, like, hey, be here tomorrow like 3 hours before the game. And he's like, okay. So he gets there, and Clemente's got a bucket of balls, and he's just like, I need you to hit the ball in this spot here because I missed one yesterday. So the teammate was just hitting all these, like, literally, like you would think a coach would probably do that now, right? But the teammate was like, that's why he won all the gold gloves. Like, he was a perfectionist. Like, it was, he made one bad play, and he said, I need to figure out this field and this angle. So it was kind of crazy. I thought that was a cool story though.
What happened? What have you heard, or what do you know about? I heard about in Pittsburgh, they had a Clemente thing on the pad, and they took it off to put an ad on there or something. I heard people got pretty mad about that.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I mean, ever since, I mean, the PNC Park was built in 1999, so it's been there for a long time. And ever since I remember, they had a little 21 tribute on the pad because that's the Clemente wall. The wall was built 21 feet high. It was always meant to be a tribute to him, the wall itself. And then the fans get to opening day, and the one fan went on Instagram and he took a picture of it. He's like, he found a picture of the wall with the 21 tribute on it, and then he took a picture of the opening day wall, and he's like, I guess they took down the tribute for a beer advertisement, and then social media kind of took it and ran with it, and then Clemente Jr. jumped in and said, they basically did that without telling our family that they were going to take the tribute down, and the Pirates started backpedaling, and instead of coming out and saying like, hey, we messed up, like some low level advertising guy did that and we didn't realize it, like they were trying to hold their ground, basically saying, no, we never planned on this being a permanent tribute. Our whole intention was this to be a temporary 21 on the wall, and then we would eventually use that space for something else. And they said we do this, and this also to celebrate Clemente. So we basically showing their resume of everything great they do for Clemente, and people just weren't having it. And social media just got even madder about it. And then a day later, they're like, all right, yeah, we messed up. We're going to put that back up. So, yeah, it was pretty bad, man. It was pretty bad.
Yeah, that's the thing about having like a lot of executives and things that like nerds that don't know the traditions. All they know is how to make money, which is why they're hired. But it's also good if they know some traditions that you shouldn't break,
Yeah.
How fans.
And the thing about it is Clemente's earned them so much money over the years. If you go to a Pirates game, it's by far the number one jersey in the crowd. It's not even close. And I talked to some fans from other teams and stuff, and they're like, this is rare. They're like, like normally it's, the Aaron Judge of the team or the best player of the
Yeah.
team. It's never a player that's been, hasn't played since 1972. So the team's made so much money off of his legacy, and they do bobblehead nights of him. They do all kinds of promotions. So it was kind of like you said, it's the dumbest thing to do, and the dumbest that's the one player you should never do anything with their legacy, basically. So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
We got some questions. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say I saw one of the questions about the pepper.
Yeah.
When I've been working at Dodger Stadium since 2004, and in 2004, every once in a while, it passed 2004 because I remember Kershaw, AJ Ellis, Juan Uribe. There was a few people that would play pepper. And I remember those were the guys specifically that they started telling them you can't play pepper. They told them to stop playing pepper, and I think it's not legal. It's not legal to play pepper before the game. I don't know if it's a safety issue or what it is, but yeah, they're not allowed to play pepper anymore.
That's weird. That's crazy. I didn't know that. Huh. Mangini's going to be really disappointed because he loves watching them play pepper. Let me answer Ziggy's question. Ziggy said, "Who has really been good since Clemente?" So he mentioned Bonds and Bonilla, and Andy Van Slyke was a big fan favorite during the early '90s, and then we had Jason Bay, who was a big fan favorite, and Brian Giles was a big fan favorite when I was growing up, and then obviously Andrew McCutchen is back with the team, and I would say he would be the one since Clemente. Obviously Willie Stargell played long after Clemente too, but I would say McCutchen. If you made a Pirates Mount Rushmore, I would put McCutchen on it because of us breaking that losing streak. We had like 20 years in a row without winning. And McCutchen was a big reason why we were able to go to the playoffs and have a winning season. So Mookie brought up Jason Kendall. Yeah, my wife loves Jason Kendall. She thinks he's the hottest thing ever, basically. Mookie has a question for you, Pepino Man here. Tell us the tradition of Dodger Stadium we don't know about. Is there any traditions?
Man, traditions? No, not really, because I don't know, man. The stadium has just been redesigned so much. I remember before, a lot of the players used to like to hang from the dugout the way it used to be. Like every time they come out, like a lot of the players would hang, and people kept doing that. But now, they've redesigned the dugout to a point where you can't do that anymore. But like traditions at Dodger Stadium. No, I can't really think of one any right off the top of my head. Man, I wish there were. Do you have any example of a tradition for the Pirates?
I'm pretty sure they all there's a photo of like Clemente when they walk down the tunnel, and I'm pretty sure they hit it. But no, not really. They always like change it up. Like when they get like a double or an RBI, they have like a move they do at second base. But I think every team has like something like that. And then like 2 years ago when they hit a home run, they had like a jacket you could put on and like dance in the dugout with this jacket on. But I think every team does stuff like that, and then they change it up depending on who the players are, right? So
yeah, for the Dodgers, they had one where when the Dodgers had one where they would go like this every time they got a hit. And there was a meme that went viral where everybody was saying, "Oh, it's Ohtani," and I think it was a Dragon Ball Z kind of move. He's doing a tribute to Dragon Ball Z when he does this, and they would show a clip of the cartoon of the Dragon Ball Z guy doing that. So that was like the belief, and it wasn't until like I think in the World Series where they interviewed I think it was Teoscar Hernandez, somebody, or Mookie Betts, and they asked him about that, and they're like, no, Kike Hernandez started that because they would do a stretch where they would stretch like this, but that Kike Hernandez would just do it kind of feminine and exaggerated. So they all started doing that. There was one, so they do change it up every year. There was one where they would go like this, and that was Freddie Freeman at the Dodgers ball that they have for them, like a big party for them, and they showed the video, and that's how Freddie Freeman was dancing on the dance floor. So that was making fun of him. And this year when they get a hit, they do this, and that's because Otani has a cologne or perfume commercial where he does that in the commercial. So they do that now.
That is funny. Beansball Card Blog. He said, yeah, we do have a tradition, but it's not really with the team. It's more of at the stadium. They have the Pittsburgh pierogi race, which is I think they actually stole it off of the bratwurst race from Milwaukee. But basically, we have 4 pierogies, and in the 6th inning or 7th inning, they have a race every single night, and they keep the standings up during the season. So my favorite pierogi is Cheesy Chester. So you actually, when you're having a real good time with your friends and you're having a few drinks, you all put some money down on a pierogi, and that's kind of your entertainment for the night, really, because normally the Pirates aren't winning, so that's kind of a fun thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot about the Pirates, the We Are Family days. Was that a little kind of dynasty that they had going? Was that their last really good years, would you say?
Yeah. I mean, that's our last World Series is 79. I wasn't born yet, so I didn't get to experience that, obviously, but it gets brought up a lot because of how bad our teams have been, and people reminisce about that team and how special it was. And there's always bobblehead nights for that team at the stadium because we don't have enough good regular players to have them as bobblehead nights. So yeah, we hear about it a lot, probably a lot more than you would if you had a team that won recently or something like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, that was
we have. At Dodger Stadium, I think we have 15 to 20 bobblehead giveaways a year. It's ridiculous. But there's a lot of repeats. There's a lot of repeats. There'll be 3 Otani bobbleheads. And I think this year there's 2. One with him and his dog, and there's going to be a bobblehead of just his dog Decoy. Bobblehead giveaway of his dog Decoy.
That's crazy. That's if you're like Kershaw, let's say, and Kershaw, let's say he doesn't have one this year, and you're sitting there going, Tony's dog gets one and I don't get one, or there's so many great players on the Dodgers that has to be kind of annoying. But I don't know if you heard, we had the first Skeens bobblehead night this year, and basically what happened was people got there the night before and lined up. And it was one of those first 20,000, I want to say, and of course they sold out the game. And people got there 2 hours before the game and didn't get one. The line was from the stadium across the Clemente Bridge down one of the streets, and the Pirate owner said because of how many people waited, he said anybody that didn't get one that came to the game could get one. They ordered more and were going to mail them to people who didn't get one. But it was really just because they've had so many bad things happen this year. I think he was trying to make up for it.
Yeah, when we had the first Otani bobblehead, I think it's worth $500. The first Otani bobblehead at Dodger Stadium. He's got plenty with the Angels that nobody cares about, which is kind of weird. He has so many bobbleheads with the Angels that nobody cares about, but his first one as a Dodger is his most valuable one. They go for $500. But they also had huh?
You have one, right?
Yeah, I got one. And they also had a couple of numbered ones where it was painted gold and they were numbered. And those are selling for like 5,000, 15,000 at peak, and now they're like 5,000. But I think that started the trend of people like, oh, this is going to be so valuable. A couple weeks ago, the newest Japanese player that we had that we called up, Isam Kim, he hit a home run and he wanted the ball. So they asked the lady who caught the ball, hey, what do you want for the ball? We'll give you a Shohei Ohtani bat. We'll give you this. We'll give you that. And she's all, no, I want like $500,000 because I know what Shohei's ball went for. They're like, well, he's not Shohei. You're crazy. You know what I mean? So they just told her, all right, you can keep it. You can keep it. And then so the front office called us and like, hey, can you guys get all 3 bases that Husam Kim that he touched when he hit his home run so we could give them to him? And so when they gave him the bases, he's like, I don't want these bases. I want my ball. And they're like, oh, we couldn't get the ball. He's like, I guess. I just want 1 base. What am I going to do with all 3 of them?
That's so funny. Yeah. Can you imagine that guy? He's probably got like an old beater car because he's like just into the league, and he's putting 3 bases in the back of it at the end of the day. Like that has to be funny. But the
bases are so big; they're like pizza boxes now. They're huge. It's like, what are you gonna do with them? I'm like, how do you display them too? You know, I understand 1, but 3.
They have like the stem. They still have that stem where they go into the ground with the stem, right? They're not.
Yeah, we give it to them with the stem, but most of the time they ask us to take it off.
Oh, okay.
But every single time that a player visiting or home gets a hit, they ask us to go get the base and get it authenticated. And Topps is the buyer. So Topps has a contract at the MLB to get the base, the bat, the batting gloves, the cleats of every rookie's first major league hit. So if they hit a single, we got to give them first base. And if they hit a double, we give them first and second. They hit a triple, first, second, and third. You know, we got to give them. And so that's how Topps makes their cards now, you know, with relics of their first hit.
Huh. Has anybody out there seen a base relic for a player recently? I didn't realize
I've seen them. Relics. Well, they're normally go on the Topps now. You know, most of the time they go on the Topps now, or there'll be inserts. But I've never seen one in person or pulled one. But I've seen them on Instagram on the Topps page, or like, hey, this person pulled this, or like, hey, we're putting so and so's first hit. You know, his batting glove, piece of the base on this card. You know, that's how they're advertising to try to sell packs. You know what I mean? Here's your chance. But it's like every single player. It's not every good rookie. It's every single player's first hit, you know? It's like some of these players, like, they might never play again, you know?
That's funny. You're lucky pitchers don't hit anymore, because that would be even crazier, because you'd have a pitcher's first hit.
Well, that's an automatic. Anytime a pitcher gets a no-hitter, we give them the rubber. That's automatic, you know.
What's like? Do you just peel off the top of it? Like, is it actually kind of small, or is it big? Like, what's it like?
No, let's say I'll give you an example real quick, like this. So it's basically like this shape. So it's 4 sides. It's 4 sides, you know. And a lot of times what we do is you put the base on. So you put the rubber on. So they pitch off of this, and then when this corner, when this edge starts getting rough, we just pull it out and we flip it. So now you're pitching off this edge, and when that gets all torn up from the cleats, we pull it out again. You know, so it has 4 sides.
Huh.
So it's a big, and we fill it up with concrete. You know, it's hollow, and we fill it up with concrete. So it's heavy. It's not something easy to do.
Wow.
So anytime there's a no-hitter going, we're like, somebody get a hit. We don't want to pull this thing out, you know? And there's been a couple times where teams have thrown a combined no-hitter against us, and they request the rubber. We're like, no. We're not doing that. Those don't count. Combined no-hitters are they're not real. It's only for a single player. If a single player gets a no-hitter, we'll give it to them.
That is crazy. I never heard that before. That's crazy. I've never seen somebody with the pitching rubber. Well, we're talking about bases. This is one of my favorite Clemente items here. You gifted me this. It's from Clemente Day. They put them on the bases. You want to tell everybody like how you got I think you gave this to a couple people in the community, how you got these off the bases and what happened that day?
Yeah, so normally I don't know why they don't auction those off or give those bases, sell those bases or whatever, but there's a couple of like all the other Roberto Clemente ones like that I gave to other people. I peeled them off the base. So theirs are like, in bad condition. Most of them, like I physically had to tear them off the base to give them to them.
No.
But yours, I asked my boss when you asked me about it, hey, can you get me one? But that year we didn't have a Roberto Clemente Day like at Dodger Stadium, I think. So I just asked my boss, hey, do you have any like extra ones of these? And he's like, yeah. He's like, normally I order 12. I order 20 because they sell them in 10s. So I get 20, but we use 12 on the bases. So we'll have extra ones. So I asked him for them, and he just gave me like a big old, I'm sure I have the bag here somewhere. But so like these are the Jackie Robinson ones from Jackie Robinson Day. I have some from Lou Gehrig Day. I have a bunch of them. But I mainly asked them for the Roberto Clemente for you. So let me show those up close. These are called jewels. All right, they're called jewels. And so the bases, when we get them brand new, they don't have anything on the side. So we glue these, we peel them off and we glue them on the side of the base. But the glue is strong. So when you tear them off the base, they'll tear. So that's how I was able to get you the Roberto Clemente one brand new. And he just happened to give me a whole box. He's like, hey, here's a bunch of them. Keep them off if you want. They were all extra ones.
That's freaking cool. I love those. I didn't realize I've never seen you show the Lou Gehrig and the Clement and the Jackie Robinson one before.
Yeah, I got a bunch of them. There was a bag somewhere. He gave me a whole bag full of them. But yeah, that's what they are. They're called jewels. So that's how I get them. They're extras. So I got a bunch of them somewhere.
Dude, those
I'd have to look for them.
Warren's trying to get a trade going. He said, "I'll trade you for one." Let's.
What do you want?
Warren, which one you want? He'll maybe trade you. Let me catch up with the chat real quick. Brendan asked a while back, why does the Dodgers dirt clump the way it does? I've never seen that anywhere else.
Well, it's basically clay. Everything that we use to repair the mound, the home plate, the bullpens, it's clay. So let me I'll get some right now. Okay, where is it at? Where is it at? Where's my cup? Okay. So this is my cup of dirt right here that I got from the World Series from home plate. Okay, so if I pull it out, there's a lot of big chunks. This is basically what's inside of here is clay, and so it kind of looks like a chocolate bar with peanuts or something on it.
Yeah.
But inside is solid clay. So it kind of looks like I'm going through a cat litter box. You know what I mean? Like it's all clumped up. But what's inside of these is chunks of clay dirt. Now this stuff right here, it's called calcined clay. It's like pottery clay basically, but it's heated up to like 3,000 degrees. And what that does is allow us to have the clay underneath, which sticks together and bonds stronger than loose dirt, and it stays hard, but the cleats will penetrate it because we can soak it. So we have this clay that is soaked and this calcined clay sitting on top of it, which doesn't stick to the cleats. All right, so that doesn't stick to your cleats, so that how it allows us to have the perfect performance. So this stuff on top is called calcined clay, but everything underneath is regular clay. I mean, it's black. It's like regular clay that you can mold and shape into something you want.
Wow.
So that's why it clumps, but this is what keeps it from sticking to your shoes.
Huh. I didn't know that at all. Have they been doing that for a long time like that?
For at least like 25, 30 years.
Oh, wow.
Like when we it's advanced so much now, we get it grinded in bags, so it comes like in like almost like that, like they grind it down like coffee grinds. But before, we used to get it in bricks. We used to get the clay in bricks, and we'd have to get like basically like a cheese grater and grind it ourselves to make it like coffee grind, so we can use it like to repair the holes. Because after every single game, we got to sweep all that surface off completely, sweep it all off, soak the dirt, and then throw the new dirt into the holes and tamp it in. And that's how we reset it every single day to start, so it keeps looking new every single game. And then we throw the new surface on top so you can walk on it without it sticking to you.
Huh. I had no idea. So is there any players on either the Dodgers or the visiting teams that like really mess the field up as far as like a shortstop that digs their cleats in and makes a big hole every time, or a pitcher that makes a big hole, or even batters?
What there was a couple of guys before that used to pitch really bad and would do that, but nobody lately. But the biggest complaint that we have, or that we ourselves seeing, like, oh, what are they doing, is when an outfielder is messing around and they want to go take ground balls, because an outfielder uses grass cleats and an infielder uses dirt cleats. So dirt cleats have the spikes, they have the little metal spikes, and the outfielders, they have like big plastic knobs. So the big plastic knobs, if an outfielder's messing around and runs in the infield and they're trying to take ground balls for a while, those knobs will make big old holes and tear the dirt up really bad. There was like a thing one time where I think it was Matt Kemp. He was taking ground balls at shortstop, and Kenley Jansen saw the mess that he was making, and he told him, "Hey, man, you need to fix that." And Matt Kemp went up to us and asked to borrow one of our drags that we make the dirt smooth. And Matt Kemp dragged it out for him because he's saying, "I don't want any bad hops during the game. It caused me to blow my game." So he made him fix it. But like the next day on social media and the news, they were saying, "Oh, look, Matt Kemp, such a good guy. He's helping the grounds crew out and this and that." And it was like, no, they don't know the real story. It was Kenley Jansen. "Hey, go fix what you just did. You made a mess. I don't want any bad hops during the game."
That's funny. I didn't even know that. Yeah, it is kind of weird for an outfielder to come in and take infield grounders. That is kind of crazy. But now, as far as the batting box goes, are you guys just fixing it so often that it doesn't really matter if somebody keeps digging their cleats in the batting box, or is there sometimes batters that mess with you guys more than others?
No, like let's say today, or it was yesterday, Ohtani. Well, almost every day, some pitcher doing rehab, and say Ohtani, they do what's called simulated games. Well, they'll throw off the mound, and they'll have live batters. So they'll just get a bunch of, a couple of left-handers, a couple of right-handers, and they'll wear their cleats, and they'll make holes on the batters' boxes, and the pitcher's making holes on the mound. As soon as they're done, we repair it real quick. If it's small damage, you can fix that like in 5 minutes real quick, maybe. It doesn't take that much. And then sometimes they'll do what's called PFPs. It's pitchers fielding practice. And all the pitchers will get on the mound and throw to home plate, and the catcher will catch it. And then the batting coach will just throw the ball like if it's a bunt or a soft grounder, and they practice how to field those and throw to first or second. So they'll tear up the mound again doing that, and we got to go and repair it again, and then batting practice will start. So it's not even uncommon that there'll be some times where we got to repair that mound and the home plate like 3 times a day, and then we repair it again after the game.
Oh wow. I always wondered though that the I know you at one point were really big into the outfield and cutting the grass in different
Yeah,
patterns.
I love patterns. Yeah.
So are you involved still with making the decision of the pattern of the outfield in Dodger Stadium, and do you help cut it? Or?
Dodger Stadium has been using the same pattern for like 20 years. It's
Really?
cut the exact same way. So
the Pirates change theirs up like once a month. That's interesting.
Well, yeah, they don't do that. What happens if so like it's like a rug or something where you have a bunch of hair standing up. You have the grass hair standing up. So what happens is when you mow it a certain direction, our mowers have rollers on them, and they roll the grass. So your grass will be standing up, and then when you mow it, it'll turn to the side. That's what creates the design. So when you go like this, you're gonna see the shade and it's dark. But then when you mow like this, the sun is reflecting off the blade and it looks white. So that's how you get the different colors. But what happens is if you mow it in a like say this is going to center field, towards center field, and you have one direction like this, and then the next one is like this, and then the next one is like this. You get what's called snaking, because the ball, when it comes like where the grass is rolled like this, it'll tend to want to move this way, and then it gets to the next cut, and it's this way, and then it wants to go in this direction. So when it crosses all those different designs, it's called snaking. The ball will kind of like move a little bit. And so they complained about that before. So if you look at Dodger Stadium, there's one going straight down center field. There's a pattern going straight to right field and one right to left field. And in between those, there's one going straight to left center and one going straight to right field. So that way you don't worry about the snaking. So that's what the players like. They say like, oh, now we never have snaking. So that's what we do. We had the same pattern for like 20 years or longer now.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I didn't even realize that, because like I said, the Pirates constantly have a different pattern in there, but that's really cool. I did want to ask you about there's no new questions in the chat, so if anybody in the chat wants to ask, listen, we can also talk about baseball card topics and show some baseball cards. So whatever the chat wants, but I wanted to talk about Ohtani's special batting cage and how he came into the Dodgers. I think I heard from you. He came to the Dodgers and he requested a private batting cage built under, like, in the dugout. And basically, since he's a DH, he's able to go and do like in the batting cage basically throughout the game. Is that all true?
Well, he basically got his own batting cage, but he didn't request it. What happens is the batting cage now, it has like a $750,000. It's $750,000 batting cage. So what it has is a giant movie screen, and so you can move that screen. It has a hole where the ball will come out of. So you can move the screen around, so the hole will be where the pitcher delivers the ball. So when you go to that batting cage, it's all computerized. It has a program for every single pitcher in MLB.
No way.
Every single pitcher. Yeah, so you could go up to it and say, hey, I want to see Paul Skeens. And Paul Skeens will appear on the screen, and he'll pitch. And wherever his delivery is for his curveball, the hole will move there and the ball will come out of there. So you're basically watching him throw the ball at you. So that's why not a lot of teams take a lot of batting practice anymore, because they'd rather take the batting practice and actually, like, that's as close as you can get against going the real thing. So what happens now? What happened now is because the screen is so big and only one player, only two players can take batting practice at a time. One on the left side, one on the right side. But with Ohtani being a DH, what they experience now is sometimes what's always happened in the past. We never had a DH before. What's always happened in the past, the coach could ask a left-hander and a right-hander batter to start warming up at the same time. Well, if Ohtani's in there all the time, you can't get another left-hander to warm up and a right-hander at the same time. So to avoid that, they said, well, because that's all Ohtani does. Ohtani goes and hits, and then when he's not hitting, he's in the batting cage. So that prevented them from having a lefty and a righty warming up. So they built him his own batting cage so they can have a lefty and a righty warming up at the same time in the batting cage.
Now, let me ask two questions here. I'm sure the chat will have some opinions. Do you think that's kind of like if you told somebody that played in the 60s about this, do you think, like, as far as team morale goes, you know, he's the number one player on the team, and he's never in the dugout pretty much. He's always in this batting cage trying to get ready. Now, granted, he's trying to get ready for the next batter. I'm not saying he's not trying to help the team, right? But it's kind of weird. It's kind of like I'm just here to be a DH, and that's, you know what I mean? It's like that aspect. And then the other aspect is, do you think that technology is getting a little bit too far here? And should a player really be able to see exactly how Paul Skeens pitches during the game and be able to practice it during the game? Like, that's kind of ridiculous.
The thing is that we have it. I think what Major League Baseball said, that if you have it, you have to have it on both sides. So the home team has to have it and the visitors team have to have it. I don't think every major league club has it, because you basically have to fork up $1.5 million to put those both in. Wow. And you have to have the facility already ready. So yeah, that's one thing, is that Major League Baseball makes you have whatever you have on the home side, you have to have on the visitor side. And that's kind of what takes away from home field advantage. You know what I mean? Like, if you had that only on the Dodger side, but the visitors didn't have it, you had home field advantage because you could do that. But now the visitors also have the advantage if they're going against Snell, to watch Snell and take batting practice against him, you know?
Yeah, Keith's saying actually Ohtani is in the dugout a lot during the game. So, okay.
What you see is when he bats, when he's coming up to bat and right after he bats, they always show him. You know what I mean? But besides that, if he's not batting that inning, he's pretty much in the batting cage. But yeah. Wesker Griff, I seen that Wesker Griff asked, what's the best spread? And what he's talking about is food. On the grounds crew, we get all the visiting teams leftover food pregame and then during the game. And when we played the Yankees, they had what we considered the best food. Not to knock anybody else, you know, trying not to sound bad, but a lot of times when we play certain teams, they try to cater to their players. So we'll have like a lot of Dominican food. We'll have a lot of, you know, Mediterranean food. Yeah. And not everybody has the taste for, you know, these foods. But the Yankees, they had mainly Italian and Mexican food. And I don't know, I love Italian and Mexican food, so it was bomb. It was like really good and vast amounts of it. And so we were like, wow, the Yankees will come in and they'll have steak and filet mignon. You know, they have really good food. And I'll come home sometimes with like 20 filet mignons, you know, 10 T-bone steaks, like extra. But so we were but the Yankees, man, they ordered like a buttload of Italian food. And I mean, I went home with the giant box of cannolis that I never even had cannolis in my life. And I went home with the giant box of cannolis. It was delicious.
That's cool.
And the Mets, now we just finished playing the Mets, and they outshined the Yankees food because they
Really?
had everything. Normally, when a team comes, they order from one Mediterranean restaurant or they order from a Cuban restaurant, so it's all kind of like the same. The Mets had like everything every night. You know, they had some Mexican, some Italian, some Cuban, some of everything. The Mets, this homestand was probably the best food we've ever had, and tons of it. I mean, my refrigerator is full with food that I brought home from Dodger Stadium.
That's crazy. That's awesome. I don't want to miss this question from Keith Smith. I don't know if you know anything about it. Did you get Dalton Rushing's first home run ball?
No, but I do believe he got it. We had to get him the base. Well, that's the whole thing. We've been doing that since last year, and I thought we were getting it for the player, but I just found out that we're getting it for Topps. Topps is buying it from the Dodgers to make cards.
Yeah, he's asking about the ball though. Did the ball?
But I think he got it. They whenever they right away ask either the clubbies or my boss to go get the ball, and they go along with the main security guy, and they offer the people a ball like, hey, and they'll tell them, hey, we'll give you a bat, we'll give you this, we'll give you that, and then they'll bargain. And most people just say, I want to meet Ohtani, and they ask Ohtani, and Ohtani usually does it. You know, hey, can you meet this person for like 5 minutes? You know, so we could get the ball for him.
Yeah, that would be my move. Is I would probably, if it was like somebody who I'm fine with giving the ball out, my first ask would probably be an Ohtani signed bat, and then I'd probably they'd probably negotiate me down from there. Is that even a possibility, or is like the bats are seasoned and like they don't want to give up their bat, or is that a possibility?
That used to be the case before. I mean, I remember hearing about like a lot of players love their bat, thought this was the perfect bat. Before the game, I could go in the dugout and look at the bat rack, and you know, there's 10 bats for Ohtani. There's 10. Every player has like 10 bats now. You know, it's massive amount.
They could care less about giving away a bat then. We had another question here. What's the best place for food and beer near the stadium? Do you have an opinion on that?
One opinion that I have about Dodger Stadium, as far as that goes, it sucks. I'll admit that, and everybody admits that, because I've gone to games in Minnesota, San Diego, San Francisco, Arizona, Colorado. Every stadium has like party places around them that you can walk after the game. Dodger Stadium is built on top of a giant hill. It's elevated. It's on top of a giant hill. And so there's a giant parking lot all the way around the hill. And then after that, there's just big drop of mountain, you know, hills on the side of it. So there is nothing really around it. You could take Vince Scully Road and drive to Sunset. And then on Sunset, there's strips and bars, but nothing like any other stadium. There's really nothing where you could just park your car and then walk to get beer, go to a bar, and then go back to your car. Nothing like that. It's the setting is awesome. The view is awesome up there, but it lacks, you know, it's something I never knew about until I started going to other stadiums. I was like, that's what sucks about Dodger Stadium. There's nothing around it, you know. There's really nothing around it.
That's crazy. I didn't know that. So somebody brought up earlier Dodger dogs, and I think I've seen one before. Is it that giant, like, I don't even know, what is it, a yard long, and then they put all this crap on top of it? Is that a Dodger dog, or was I just seeing something at some other stadium?
That's the new one they just came out with this year, some kind of giant Dodger dog. The original Dodger dog is a foot long, and then it has a smaller bun. So, I mean, the hot dog sticks out on both sides by a lot.
Okay.
But now this year they came out with this giant one, but it's like $40, $60, man, for this giant hot dog. And it's like, who could even finish that, you know? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, the Pirates do stupid stuff like that too, and I'm just like, this is for social media. It's not for an actual person. Like who wants to get this huge thing and then it gets all soggy halfway through?
Yeah,
It's like
that's just a show off. You know what I mean? You can't eat that. You can't eat that whole thing.
I think if we're gonna end on time, I think we should show some cards. You got some cards on your desk? I got some cards here. I could I got a card here I haven't shown on my channel yet. Can I show that off?
Yeah.
We're talking about hot dogs. I haven't shown this on my channel yet. It's a 1963 Cons Wiener Clemente. So it's got some authentic hot dog juice still on it from the pack.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah,
well,
I love this.
Just to stay on the Roberto Clemente. I gotta go with the beer.
Yeah, let me get you.
All right, but it's Roberto Clemente beer.
No, Coors Light has Roberto Clemente on it, or what is it? Coors Banquet? What is that?
Yeah,
that is cool.
The original, but yeah, it's Roberto Clemente.
Well, hey, if you're not going to outdo me on Clemente, okay? I got the original Clemente beer right here, Iron City beer with Clemente on it. So I got the whole 6-pack here, and this was help to pay for the statue they have. It's still sealed, Pepino Man. There's still beer in here, so we could crack these open sometime at the National, maybe.
So they made that beer to help buy the statue?
Yeah, it was it helped fundraise for the statue. They had like 6 different cans, I believe, and they had to raise them. They did a bunch of different fundraisers to raise money for the statue. If we weren't like a poor team, maybe the owner would pay for the statue and not need to do fundraisers. But
all right, I'm gonna look for a modern card of Mickey Mantle though. Whammy! Before, I think this is like one of the cards that I'll give shiny cards of vintage players a chance because I had to. But cool. I'm looking for one of my favorite cards that's not like a mainstream card of Mickey Mantle. And I just love this one. Hopefully I find it quick. Come on, card, pop up.
Yeah. If you're still looking, I'll show you my only Mickey Mantle card. How about that? I got this from Chris from Missouri at the National last year. 1959 Baseball Thrills. Mantle hits 42nd home run. I just think that's an awesome card. You got the catcher, the umpire there. Coming from Chris, it's even more special. But yeah, that's a cool Mantle right there, and it's not that expensive.
Yeah, this is like, I'm gonna take it out of here. This is one of my favorite Mickey Mantle cards, modern. And it's him with his dog and a rifle. That's his hunting dog. If you guys look. And I also have the chrome version, which I'm not sure. I think Egg gifted me this one. But I don't know if you guys know, but Mantle was an avid hunter. And he used to go with Billy Martin. One of my favorite stories was a Mickey Mantle and Billy Martin hunting story. Are you familiar with that story?
I don't think so. What I'm trying to think here. Did you tell it on your channel recently?
Yeah, and here's Mickey Mantle as a baby. But for anybody who hasn't heard it real quick, if you watch my channel, you probably heard it. I love it. I tell it as often as I can. But Billy Martin and Mickey Mantle used to go hunting like in the off season every year. And so Mickey Mantle calls one of his dad's old friends, a farmer, because he would call his dad's friend and he will let them farm. He will let them hunt in his farmland, and he will hunt. They would hunt for quail and other, other little animals around there. So he called him and he said, "Yeah, man, come over. Go ahead, come over. And you can come hunting." So he calls Billy Martin and says, "Hey, we could go hunting over here. You want to go?" And it was like a 4-hour drive. So that they get up early the next morning. They go over there. They drive over there. When they get there, Mickey Mantle gets off the truck and tells Billy Martin, "Wait up right here. I'm gonna go, let him know we're here and stuff." Knocks on the door, and then he's like, "Hey, what's up?" And he's like, "Yeah, man, yeah, go ahead, go hunting." He's like, "Hey, Mickey, can you just do me a favor?" And he's yeah, you could go hunting. He's like, "But before you do, or after," he's like, "Can you just do me a favor, man, and shoot my my cow?" He's that cow was like a pet to him, and that was his favorite cow that he had forever, but it was already old and sick and blind and dying. He's like, "I need to put it out of its misery." He's like, "But I just can't do it, man. I can't do it. Could you do it for me?" And Mickey Mantle was like, "Man, I don't really want to do that." He's like, "Okay, but I'll do it for you." And he goes, when he's walking back to tell Billy Martin we could go hunting, he tells, "I'm going to pull a trick on him real quick." And he goes over there and he tells Billy Martin, "Hey, man, can you believe it? This old son of a gun doesn't want to let us hunt, man. We drove 4 hours over here. He said we can't hunt." He's like, "Man, give me my rifle. I'm going to shoot one of his cows." And Billy Martin's like, "No, Mickey, don't do that, man. Who cares? Let's just go home." And Mickey Mantle runs over there and he shoots the guy's cow for him in the head, doing him the favor. But as a joke to Billy Martin, act like he's doing it for revenge. And then he hears 2 more shots in the back. Boom, boom. And he like turns around and he sees Billy Martin kind of close to him. He's like, "Billy, what'd you do?" He's like, "Man, I just took that old son of a beast 2 more cows out too." And he's like, "Oh no," like his joke went bad. And Billy Martin being a friend, "Well, I'm gonna help you too." And he killed 2 more of his cows, and they were prize cows, so Mickey Mantle had to pay for them.
Wow, that's crazy. I didn't hear that one. That's hilarious. The joke went sideways, huh? That's crazy. That's insane. What's your next big mantle you want to get? Like, if perfect world and it's relatively affordable. What's your next mantle target?
If what I wish I could have is the 52 Bowman. That would be like my next dream card right now, is the 52 Bowman. When I started collecting mantles, all I cared about was the tops. And, I bought a lot of my mantles like pre-2015, 2012, and they were nowhere near the prices that they command now. So like the 54 Bowman, I bought that in I think a graded a 4, and it was only like $200. I got the 53 Bowman with Yogi Berra in there, and it was like $500. That was way later. And I think the 55 Bowman. So I got a lot of the Bowmans for dirt cheap, because the tops ones were expensive and the Bowmans were like dirt cheap. So I got the Bowmans dirt cheap, but I really didn't want them. I only wanted the tops, but it was one of those things. Well, I can't pass it up because it's so cheap. I'm sure the 52 Bowman is now pretty expensive. So, but that would be the next card that I want. Obviously, I would want the 52 tops. But yeah, that's like not even possible, probably.
Yeah, I know. That's on a lot of people's list, and it's crazy because I think more dealers own 52 mantles than are out there with collectors right now. Yeah, it's crazy.
I asked Mangini one time. I said, "Is it possible to trace?" Like, because he would tell me, I would talk to him. And he like, "Yeah, like so many 52 mantles sold, on eBay." I was like, "Hey, well, like, is it possible to do like the research and find out like if a lot of those are like really like just a couple of cards that keep getting sold from flipper to dealer to dealer to flipper, whatever?" And then he like looked it up, and there was like, "Yeah, this one card right here got sold like 5 times in the last month. The exact same card."
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's insane. I went to a booth at Strongsville and the guy had 3 of them, and I'm just like, I know they're not as scarce as some other cards. You know, it's just more iconic. But still, it's just crazy to me. But hey, we're over an hour now. I think we should wrap it up if you're fine with that. What do you think?
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah,
It's been a long week for me, and I'm tired, man. But yeah, like I said, I was at Dodger Stadium, and we were not expecting rain at all. And then all of a sudden, there was thunder in the air and everything. And my boss calls me, "Hey, can you come in right now?" And I was like, "Oh man," I was about to start making my video, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll go in." And both 2 days in a row, man, it just rained like out of nowhere, you know. But luckily, we have that luck in California where it always seems to rain in the day, and then it stops raining for the Dodger game. It's like that's how God wants it.
I'm doing this Sunday night live stream this week on the channel, and it's gonna be a fun show. We're ranking the 50s top sets, and I have Greg from Midlife Sports Cards, I have Chris from Missouri, and I have Ray from Philly on. So if anybody wants to come hang out on Sunday night, that should be a really fun show. Yeah, this was fun, man. I appreciate you letting me come on and hang out with you tonight. There's Jason.
Thank you.
Jason, you came too late, buddy. You got to watch your replay now. So, Daniel came on too late, and Hammer 44 came on too late. But it was a lot of fun, and we appreciate you guys watching. I'll give you the last word, Pepino Man.
All right, guys. Everybody, just love the hobby and keep collecting baseball cards forever. I say, We're Collectors Channel out. See ya. Bye. Love the hobby. Keep collecting baseball cards. Like, I say.